Muji is a hopeless romantic with one goal in mind: winning over his stunning teacher. But after realizing he lacks the experience to catch her attention, he decides to level up by getting involved with his classmates first, treating it like farming XP in a game. Before all that, on a quiet July afternoon, Hanabi leans over her teacher's desk, hoping to feel closer to Naromi, her childhood friend who is now her homeroom teacher and the center of her heart. Her daydream is cut short when Naromi himself walks in. Flustered, she tries to act normal, speaking to him warmly, as she always has. But now that he's her teacher, Naromi gently reminds her to speak more formally. Before the moment settles, the atmosphere changes when a siren-like colleague, Akane, enters the room. Everything about her, the graceful movements, the effortless charm, draws an immediate reaction from Naromi. The difference in his tone and gaze cuts Hanabi deeply. Jealous and hurt, Hanabi storms out, only to run into Muji. Without a single word, Muji reads the look on her face, because he knows it well. He, too, understands the pain of loving someone who looks right past you toward another. He quietly leads her behind the school building, and there, they share a kiss, desperate, hungry, and steeped in sadness. Their lips taste of unspoken longing, but even in that closeness, a truth becomes clear. This isn't love. Hanabi imagines Naromi in his place, and Muji sees Akane's face in his mind. What they share is not romance, but a projection, a coping mechanism for loves that do not love them back. Months earlier, Hanabi had started the school year full of anticipation. Having Naromi as her homeroom teacher felt like a dream. But the thrill quickly faded when she realized Naromi's heart tilted toward someone else, Akane, whose allure had already begun to wrap him around her skilled fingers. As longtime neighbors, Naromi had often come over for dinner at Hanabi's house. Her mother, with a talent for public embarrassment, openly hinted at Hanabi's feelings and proudly mentioned how hard she worked on those meals just for him. While it made Hanabi blush, Naromi seemed touched, praising her cooking each time. After dinner, she'd walk him to the station, and he'd comment on how he longed for a wife someday. But Hanabi knew he wasn't picturing her in that role. He was picturing Akane. The realization dredged up another old wound. As a child, Hanabi once won a school race, but instead of cheers, she was accused of cheating because she ran alongside Naromi instead of her absent father. Stung, she lashed out at another student before running off to cry alone. Naromi found her and comforted her, sharing food her mother had made. They spoke of their mutual loneliness and promised to fill that void for each other. Now, years later, Hanabi feels that promise has been broken. One day, Hanabi overhears a group of boys making crude comments about Akane. Her irritation grows when she runs into Akane moments later, taking in the features that seem to make every man weak. At that same moment, Muji appears to help Akane with something small, and Hanabi notices the glimmer in his eyes, the same look she herself gives Naromi. Outside, Hanabi and Muji talk, watching Naromi and Akane walk home together. That shared wound becomes the spark of a new connection. Weeks later, on a rainy afternoon, Hanabi visits Muji's apartment. They vent about the hopelessness of their desires until Hanabi, almost without thinking, hugs him from behind. Something shifts. Muji turns to face her, gently pushing her onto the bed. She doesn't resist. Just before things escalate, Muji asks her to think of him as Naromi. She agrees at first, but then jokingly remarks that his face doesn't compare to Naromi's. Muji tells her to close her eyes. She does, and as he kisses her forehead, she imagines Naromi. Their lips meet. It's her first real kiss. She asks for more, and Muji deepens it, his hands exploring. Hanabi responds eagerly, but in her mind, it's still Naromi touching her. Her joy is imagined, her tears bittersweet. A text from Naromi interrupts the moment, but when Muji asks if they should continue, she says yes. Months before, Hanabi had rejected a classmate's confession with a sharp, almost mocking tone, a cruelty born from her own inner weakness. Now, after spending more time with Muji, they decide to date, but only as substitutes for their real loves. Their pact is simple: they will never fall for each other. This They call their scum's wish. Not long after, Hanabi tries to get Muji to walk her home. He hesitates until a friend jokingly urges him to go and give her the tongue twister special. Before things get awkward, Hanabi's friend, Sai, offers to walk her home instead. Hanabi declines, saying she's leaving with her boyfriend, Muji. Sai hides her disappointment, watching them walk away. While sharing a drink on the way home, Hanabi and Muji almost kiss, until they're interrupted by Noro, Muji's childhood friend, who sees herself as his rightful partner. She doubts their relationship's legitimacy and openly questions how someone like Hanabi could end up with him. Instead of defending Hanabi, Muji teases that her wildness is what drew him in. Hanabi, irritated, grabs Noro's collar and loudly claims Muji as hers. The next day, Muji scolds Hanabi for her behavior. She dismisses Noro as tragically underwhelming and insists it's not jealousy, just possessiveness. Muji kisses her. Meanwhile, Noro wrestles with her own feelings for Muji and later, in the cafeteria, hugs him and confesses her love. Later, Hanabi helps Naromi with some duties and notices they're alone in the language lab. She's ready to make a move, but the sound of Akane playing piano nearby pulls Naromi's attention and prays toward Akane again. Frustrated, Hanabi finds herself in a karaoke room with Muji, singing melancholy songs. Muji suggests she give up on Naromi. She refuses, and they end up kissing passionately, though in Muji's mind, it's Akane he's holding. Meanwhile, Sai starts to question the nature of Hanabi and Muji's relationship. Later, Hanabi meets up with a group of girls to talk about love and realizes their problems pale in comparison to her own longing for Naromi. She later talks to Sai about crushes, and Sai's answer, that love is a strange, inexplicable feeling, leaves Hanabi moved. A sleepover follows, and one winter day, Hanabi recalls how she once saved Sai from an uncomfortable situation on the train. That was when Sai's feelings for Hanabi began to change. That night, in the dark, Sai kisses Hanabi and confesses her love, pointing out that Hanabi doesn't truly love Muji. Shocked, Hanabi realizes she's been using Muji just as Akane uses others. The next morning, Hanabi ignores Noro's insults, lost in her own thoughts. Elsewhere, Muji recalls his past with Mei, the girl who first revealed Akane's manipulations to him. He'd seen Akane with other men but couldn't shake his attraction. Now, meeting Mei again, they sleep together, but it leaves him hollow. The next day, Muji and Hanabi meet on the school roof, both admitting they've been with someone else. Surprisingly, neither feels jealous, only an odd sense of understanding. Here comes the end of this part. Like and subscribe, and watch out for part 2. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.